Well, we've got a follow-up to those headline-making Capitol Hill fireworks yesterday when Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy went toe-to-toe with President Donald Trump. It happened during a closed-door meeting with GOP senators. At one point, the president told Cassidy to sit down. Cassidy's response? He told the president of the United States that he should sit down. CBS News Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan asked Cassidy about that very testy exchange.
On Wednesday, you and President Trump had that angry exchange. Raised voices, you said, along with other Senate Republicans in this closed-door meeting. He berated you for that vote you had taken previously to try to stop the war. You said you won't be bullied. Did you feel that he backed down by giving you that briefing? I mean, isn't sharing information just a basic expectation that lawmakers like yourself should have fulfilled? Like, why does it take a shouting match?
Let's back up a little bit, if we may. I'm a doctor. I am going to try and get as much information as possible to come to the truth of someone's diagnosis and the truth of how to treat that problem. As much information as possible. You deny me that information, and I'm going to be frustrated because my job is to serve with the information I have before me. By the way, I take that same ethic to public service. Our society has problems. What is the truth behind the cause of that problem? What is the truth about how to solve it? If you're not telling me answers, I'm going to push for those answers. So when the president was berating the 4 people that voted for the War Powers Act, frankly, I'm not there to be berated. And the president wasn't invited to dish out verbal abuse.
But that's what he did.
I raised my hand. I said, Mr. President, do you just want, is that a rhetorical question that you're asking, why do we vote for it? Or are you really interested? He goes, I'm really interested. I stood up and I said, this is why. And I listed those objectives that I did not see being achieved and how the kind of endpoint of the war kept stretching out longer and longer. He began to speak over me. Unfortunately, I raised my volume to match his, and we spoke to each other like that. Or shall we say, spoke at each other, not to each other. Now, I shouldn't have lost my temper. Nor should he. But, you know, my wife will tell you, every now and then my Irish temper gets the best of me. But point being, I needed to know. I need to know to serve my people in my state and my country. As it turns out, I got a briefing afterwards. In one sense, I actually accomplished the mission of what I needed to do.
So meetings continue today for President Trump when he speaks with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Let's go live to CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. Okay, Caitlin, we're seeing some of these members of Congress start to light some fire there under the president. They're willing to go toe-to-toe with him a little bit. Talk to me about what the buzz is on Capitol Hill now, 24 hours later.
Yeah, Reed, I mean, no shortage of drama up here on Capitol Hill. And yesterday was just something that, you know, has to be explained and kind of focused on, because you rarely see this. Republicans pushing back against the president. But a dynamic has shifted over the past month or so up here because the president has actively campaigned against some of his own Republicans and has been driving them out of office or out of their political careers. Cassidy is one of them. The president supported his primary opponent. Cassidy lost his primary race, and so he's not going to be reelected. The same goes for John Cornyn in Texas and others across the board. So you're seeing a small faction within the Republican Party feeling a little bit more emboldened to challenge the president. And we saw that with the War Powers resolution the other night, which Cassidy supported. He flipped his vote last night when it came up again because he says, as he described to Margaret Brennan, that he got the requisite briefing that he wanted from the administration. But I think this is a larger dynamic to watch over the coming months, especially ahead of those midterm elections. Those Republicans who are not running for re-election this year or have been forced out of office by the president himself aren't dependent upon his base, his voters, for support. So they're feeling a little freer to voice concerns, and that is what we saw in the lunch yesterday. But Reed, I gotta tell you, the big headline from yesterday was not only the shouting match, is that the president undercut himself yesterday by deciding not to sign a bill that his administration had been pushing, that big housing bill. wide bipartisan support this bill got. We rarely see this kind of thing up here on Capitol Hill, where you have multiple different factions within both parties supporting a policy to address affordability, which both parties say is going to be key this midterm election. The president had a chance to sign this into law yesterday and decided he's not going to do it. There was a stage set for him, a podium set, everything was in order, and he decided last minute he's not going to sign that bill because he wants this Congress to pass the SAVE Act, which is a package of voting restrictions that he now says is the top priority heading into this midterm election. But the truth is they just don't have the votes for that. And so he's not only created some issues within his own party on the primary front and driving people out of office, he's also creating issues for those who are his top allies, who want to push forward policies up here to help his party in the midterm election.
All right, watching it all, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you. You have a good day.